Tonight on That's Dark.
Delve into the twisted mind of Ed Gein, the real-life horror story that inspired countless terrifying tales. Brace yourselves as we uncover the gruesome secrets and chilling crimes of the man behind the mask. Follow us through the dark side of history. Hello, everybody.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Alyssa. Today, we're talking about mean Ed Gein.
And he's spooky. Anything I've ever seen, I don't know, like, I'm glad you did him, because, like, I never want to watch him. Like, he literally gives me the ick.
Yes.
Beyond anything that I can tell you. The 1920s gives me the ick. Everything about it creeps me out.
It's super creepy. It's just a very ominous time, I feel like.
It was. Well, I mean, you had the Great Depression, like, all the shit, when the Civil War, you know, like, I don't know. It was like, all I know is I don't like it.
No. I'm just interrupting this real quick just to give a massive trigger warning. This is very gruesome and disturbing stuff. So if you're very sensitive to blood, gore kind of stuff, maybe skip this one. We're going to start with the family and the upbringing situation because it's pretty pivotal with this one. Okay, so Edward Theodore Gein, commonly known as Ed Gein, was born August 27th, 1906 in La Crosse. I don't know if it's La Crosse or LaCroix. I don't think it's LaCroix, but it was in Wisconsin. And he came from a troubled and dysfunctional family. His upbringing played a significant role in shaping the disturbed individual he would become.
Oh.
So his father, George Philip Gein, was a weak and ineffective man. He struggled to provide for his family and had difficulty holding down a steady job. He was often overshadowed by his domineering wife, Augusta.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that name says it all.
Yeah, so the mother, Augusta, was a fanatical and deeply religious woman. She had... she had puritanical beliefs and had a strong influence on her sons. Augusta instilled in her children a fear of the outside world, especially women, who she regarded as immoral and sinful. She frequently read the Bible to them, focusing on the more violent and apocalyptic passages. Also, like, I think I'm going to touch on it later in here too, but I'm just going to, like, because it's very pivotal with his mother. She would tell him that women are sluts, they're whores, they're temptresses, the only the only good woman is me. So what does that do? That's going to make the man love his mom.
Mommy issues.
Oh, yeah. So...
tapping that religion, that strict religious beliefs in there.
Yeah.
Got a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So his sibling, Henry Gein, so he was his older brother. The two brothers were very close, and Henry often tried to protect Ed from their mother's strict and oppressive influences.
I don't know if you put it in there. Did she, like, hit them too? Typically that was the case, because spare the rod, spoil the child.
Not anything that was really talking about that. It was more so a lot of just religious nonsense. And my assumption is, like, when we get into his mental health, I think that there was probably mental illness with her. It would make a lot of sense.
That typically is.
Yeah.
Just back then, there was nothing about that.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but nothing stood out that was saying that she would abuse him physically. It was just very, very verbal abuse and very tyrannical sounding. Okay, so the Gein family lived on a remote and isolated farmstead in Plainfield, Wisconsin. The isolation played a significant role in Ed's upbringing as he had limited social interaction outside of his family. Augusta's fervent religious beliefs and harsh moral code had a profound impact on Ed. She taught her sons that the world was wicked and that women, in particular, were evil temptresses. Ed internalized these beliefs, and they would later manifest in disturbing ways. When Ed was just 8 years old, his father died of heart failure, leaving him and his brother Henry alone with their overbearing mother. Augusta's influence grew stronger after the husband's death. In 1945, Henry, his brother, died under mysterious circumstances while the two brothers were burning brush on their property. Some have speculated that Ed may have been involved in the brothers' death, but no conclusive evidence was ever found. So I thought that was...
How old is Ed at this point in 1945?
Well...
When was he born?
He was born in 2006, and this was in 45.
All right, so he'd be in his 30s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, very interesting. So now we'll get into, like, his work life, like, just how he handled life as an adult.
Okay.
He had profoundly disturbing adult and work life. His actions and behaviors during this period were marked by several mental illnesses and gruesome activities. His work life was farm laborer. Ed Gein worked as a farm laborer throughout most of his adult life. He continued to reside on the family farm in Plainfield, Wisconsin, even after the deaths of his father and his brother. The farm had fallen into despair, and Ed primarily made meager living by odd jobs and doing farm work for neighbors. He was very, very reclusive. He did not go out. Like, the only time people would really see him is if he was doing odd jobs for them or if he was out on the farm. But other than that, he didn't. And I mean, it makes sense when you think of his upbringing.
Everything's evil.
Everything's evil.
Gotta stay away from the women. They're temptress.
Yeah.
Drag you to hell, you know? Yeah.
So, Ed's work life was characterized by extreme reclusiveness. He rarely interacted with people in the community and was known as a loner. His isolation deepened after the death of his brother, Henry, as he lived alone on the decrepit family farm. So let's get into some of his interests and hobbies.
Yeah, okay.
He developed an unusual fascination with death and human anatomy. He began reading books on these subjects and even visited cemeteries at night. He would later admit to grave robbing and exhuming the bodies of recently deceased women from local cemeteries, and activity that contributed to his gruesome actions that are to come.
What did they talk about him having, like, necrophilia?
They didn't, surprisingly. I would not be surprised if he did.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I would not be surprised.
Because I'm just going to say, like, that's the problem with religion. And, well, that kind of religion, not all religion, but, like, that strict, you know, it's because, like, you're teaching him, like, women are sluts, women are this, like, and so it's a dirty thing. Mm-hmm. It's 100% dirty, right? But, like, you still have those urges. Yeah. You still have those thoughts.
They did.
And you have mental illness included? I mean, come on. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised, but it doesn't specify on that. However, I do have a different thought, and we'll get to it once I talk about it. So, we've got more disturbing behaviors and actions. As we know, he liked to rob graves.
Are they being marked? So has he been caught? Is he being marked by people?
Not
This is
yet.
just something that's been discovered later. Okay, got you.
So one of the most disturbing aspects of Ed's adult life was his involvement in grave robbing. He confessed to digging up the bodies of recently deceased women from local cemeteries with the intention of creating women suits from their skin. And that's where I'm going to get into my theory later when I get into that.
Also, maybe a lot of...
Oh my god, I have to do a trigger warning.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I just realized
I'm going to put one before I start talking.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
There's massive trigger warning in this story.
Yeah, this is not for the...
faint of heart by any means.
No. I don't even want to say weak. It's just not. It's a lot. Okay, so trophies and artifacts. Inside his farmhouse, authorities discovered a horrifying collection of trophies and artifacts. These included masks made of human skin, furniture upholstered with human skin, and various body parts such as skulls and bones, which he used for decorations and bowls to eat out of. The murders. His crimes extended beyond grave robbing. He was eventually arrested and convicted of murder of two women, Bernice Warden and Mary Hogan. His murders, like his other activities, had gruesome and bizarre quality. Mental illness. Ed's adult life was plagued by several mental illness, stemming likely stemming from the troubled upbringing and isolation. He exhibited symptoms of schizophrenia and dissociative disorder, which contributed to his increasingly bizarre and violent behavior. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're going to get into the murders and just the gruesome incidences that he did. So this is where it's going to get real wild. So Ed Gein's crimes were gruesome and shocking, and they horrified the nation when they were uncovered. Here is a detailed chronological order of the gruesome murders and actions.
Trigger warning, trigger warning.
Trigger warning. So, Bernice Worden,
Mm-hmm.
November 16th, 1957. The hardware store owner Bernice Worden disappeared in Plainfield, Wisconsin. Ed Gein was the prime suspect in her disappearance. Authorities searched the farmhouse and discovered her decapitated body hanging in his shed, gutted like a deer. Her heart was found in a saucepan on the stove, and her head was found in a burlap sack. And also, just some extra detail on the head that they found.
Yeah.
So when they uncovered it, they saw nails sticking out and had wire going through ear to ear. And when they asked him why? And he said, "Oh, I was going to hang her up on the wall." And this is where I say, like, mental illness, because it was just like, oh, I was going to hang her up for his decoration. Like, it's not, to him, it was nothing like...
It wasn't shocking.
No. It was just like, yeah, she was going to be the decoration there.
Holy shit.
So, Mary Hogan, December 8th, 1954. A tavern owner disappeared. Ed was linked to her disappearance. Hogan's head was found in his possession along with several other body parts of hers.
Did they find this when they were going to investigate the lady?
So what happened is when he started murdering is when he got discovered and caught, because before he had been just like...
grave robbing.
Yeah. And getting things that way.
Okay.
And obviously it led to wanting to kill people. And, it always has to it never just stops at a level. It has to keep going.
Yeah.
So those are what got him caught.
So he only murdered 2 women, like actually legitimately murdered 2 women.
Yeah. So that's why they always like to say he's a serial killer, but really he's not.
He would have been.
He would have been. If he had not been caught, he definitely would have been. But a lot of his crazy, gruesome things were not people he murdered.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
All right. So let's get into the grave robbing and the creations. So he admitted to robbing graves and recently deceased women, primarily from local cemeteries.
So recently, yeah, that makes sense.
He was particularly interested in exhuming the bodies of middle-aged women who resembled his deceased mother. He used the exhumed bodies to create gruesome artifacts. So some of them were masks made of the faces of the deceased that he had hanging on the wall. Furniture upholstered with human skin, a belt made of female nipples, bowls made from human skulls, lampshades made of human flesh, and various other body parts used for decoration. He had bags of dried up vaginas, places. He had
bags.
Yes, he had bags of noses. And also another reason why he would do the recently deceased women is because he said working with older skin was harder. So it was easier when it was newer skin. So here's my theory. Because here's the Mac Daddy of his creations.
Okay.
The women's suits, which are quite literally a suit of skin. Like leggings he would step into and he would be completely covered in this suit.
So he wanted to
He wanted to be a woman. He wanted to be his mom. He wanted to look like his mom and be his mom. And so that's where I'm saying...
How many women's suits did he make?
It didn't specify.
But it said suits.
Suits. Women's suits made of the skin of his victims. So, my theory is he obviously only liked his mom.
Well, she made sure of that.
And whether or not he had, like, necrophilic thoughts to others, I'm sure it happened. But my theory is it's his mom. He wanted his mom. He wanted, just wanted to resemble his mom. Which, again, that's going to happen when you tell your son that everyone's bad. Like, I'm the only good one.
Yeah, I don't mean me. I don't mean me. I mean, like, the mom. Like, except for me.
Yes.
I'm the only good one. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, what do you think's going to happen? So he hates everyone but her. Okay, so...
Do you think oh man, you continue. Go ahead.
We'll discuss more after. So here is the arrest and the trial, which took place on November 16th, 1957. He was arrested on November 16th after the discovery of Bernice Worden's body and the artifacts in his home. He was declared unfit for trial due to his mental state and was committed to a mental institution.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay.
He was institutionalized in 1957 and put to death in 1984. Or not put to death. I'm sorry. Scratch that. He died on July 26th of 1984.
What the fuck? He was alive when I was alive?
Yes. Isn't that crazy? I thought that too, because first of all, 1906, people did not typically live that long. And now he died at the Mendota Mental Health Institute in Madison, Wisconsin from respiratory failure due to lung cancer. Yeah. Crazy. Is that not crazy?
I had no idea he was alive until then. Yeah.
It's a long time to be alive for them.
No idea. That is insanity.
Yeah. Crazy. So I also added in some honorable mentions of some of his unsettling details that are lesser known.
Okay.
So he had a collection of shrunken heads.
Oh.
In addition to his collection of the macabre made of human remains, he also had a fascination with shrunken heads. Although he didn't create these himself, he collected them and kept them just as trophies.
Okay.
Taxidermy obsession. He had a deep interest in taxidermy, a hobby he learned from his father. However, his taxidermy pursuits took a sinister turn when he began experimenting with creating human skin masks and other gruesome items.
Yeah.
He's possibly involved in more murders. He was officially convicted of the murders of Bernice Worden and Mary Hogan, like we already know. But he's a suspect in several other missing people cases in the area. Some believe he may have been involved in additional murders, although these were never proven.
How can you prove it when it's just skin and vaginas?
Yeah. And now we'll get into his gravestone, which is interesting. After his death, Ed Gein's gravestone in Plainfield Cemetery became an attraction for curious visitors. The gravestone was stolen on multiple occasions and eventually replaced with a plain marker to deter theft. People thought it was cool to go and take pieces of his grave, and then eventually someone actually stole it, and it landed in Seattle somehow. So they just decided, we're like, okay, we're not going to give him any gravestone.
I don't think he needs to have one, honestly. I'm sorry.
Nope. It's also, here we go again, back to people's strange thing with murder and murderers. It's like, why?
I know. I don't get it.
It's very strange. So, okay, of course, his influence on horror fiction. So his crimes particularly greatly influenced the creation of fictional horror characters. Besides inspiring Norman Bates in Psycho and Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, elements of his life and actions can also be seen as a character like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
It's exactly who I thought of. Yep. I knew Leatherface, but I didn't know Psycho. I should have connected the two.
That has to be from the mother aspect of it.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's very much the mother aspect. But I knew Leatherface, but Buffalo Bill just hit my head when...
Oh, yeah. Gein's House of Horrors. After his arrest, the farmhouse became a place of morbid curiosity for the public. Many people visited the site, and some even took pieces of the house as souvenirs. The house itself was destroyed by a fire in a suspicious blaze in 1958.
Good.
Which people, that's what, they're like, it's good, just let that thing
Let it go. You don't need to carry a piece of that fucking horror around with you. What the fuck?
Nope.
Jeez.
He had limited education. He only completed 8th grade in school and had very
That's actually pretty good for back then, I'm just going to tell you.
His isolation and lack of formal education contributed to his odd beliefs and behaviors. And lastly, personality disorder. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia and antisocial personality disorder. His mental illness and disturbed upbringing played a significant role in his descent into madness and the gruesome crimes he committed. So, that's that. That is Mean Ed Gein.
Gross.
Very gross. I don't even want to say mean. It's just, like, I don't even...
How do you... I just gotta...
unpack all of it.
Nah. How do you, working in a psychiatric place like that, tend to somebody who has created human creations? Like, I don't... when you were talking about what he did to that one girl as she's hanging decapitated.
Oh, yeah.
Was he like that? To me, I initially thought, oh, that's what they do when they start to taxidermy.
Right.
I'm like, was that what he was doing?
Yes.
Like, is he going to go further on? So he was trying to put a skin suit on to be his mother. Like, I don't know. I can't even, I think my brain is just not there, like I can't, it is a good thing, but I can't.
Never will understand.
I can't.
The only thing I can say is this is the unfortunate truth behind, first of all, untreated mental illness.
Absolutely.
And then when you add in the abuse
fucking mother, dude,
and the religious abuse, it's a recipe for disaster.
I feel like when you have done that to your kids, I feel like the universe needs to do something. Like, there needs to be, like, you're going to be living your life over and over to fucking figure yourself out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, you have to figure yourself out because you're a shit person that created. Well, I mean, he was going to have the mental illness, and obviously she did too, And unfortunately, those types of mental illnesses were not taken care of properly. Until not even really that recent. I mean, it's still probably not.
I was going to say, even to this day, I would say schizophrenia
understanding is
very misunderstood and very, like...
Although I do love the fact that they now have, like, trained dogs.
Yes. That
if they're having an episode and they think they see something, like the dog, they can look at their dog and realize that, like, their dog's not freaking out.
Yes.
And and I love that. I was like, that is amazing. So they can, like, say, okay, my dog's not freaking out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not seeing this for real, which I think is amazing because I have a cousin who's got schizophrenia. And he's definitely been, and his was drug induced, and he's definitely been through it. And there's definitely another element to me always there. Like, I feel like, yes, mental illness, but then again, that evil being brought up with those beliefs, I'm the only one that's good. When you have a mental illness and you're being fed this, like, you're going to go all in.
Oh, for sure.
You're all in. Yeah. That my mother, and now she's gone.
Yeah.
She's the only one. But now I have all these, the man. I have all these feelings, thoughts.
It's really sad. Like, obviously, it's not an excuse by any means.
No.
It is really, really
I wonder how often he saw her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because of being schizophrenic, I wonder how often he produced her.
Oh, probably a lot.
With him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of off subject, but not really. So there was a therapist that, I'd have to send it to you. But he played what it sounds like in the head of someone with schizophrenia. And this is just on a very minor level, like voices that go through their head. And he played it just for a couple minutes, and he's like, it makes you go crazy. He's like, now imagine hearing that all day. All the time. It doesn't stop. And it's sad. Mm-hmm. It's very sad. I've encountered someone with schizophrenia too, and it's scary. It is very scary. And it's also unfortunate that we don't have a system set up to really help them. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
He wasn't sophisticated. He definitely was mentally ill and I don't know if I necessarily believe that he killed others, because it seemed like once he started, unless the others were, like, he was never sophisticated with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense if he had just mentally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, even for cops to question him, like, why are there nails in this person's head? And he's like, oh, I was going to hang it up as decoration. Like, that right there just tells you, like, this is not like a person. It's fine. Yeah.
It's normal. It's fine. It's crazy.
Yeah, he had the faces.
Still creeped out by him.
Skinned faces on his wall. It's crazy.
His pot that he would cook things in is in Vegas.
Oh,
at Zach Bagans Museum.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Bagans. Sorry.
Of course.
At his museum.
I had a weird thought for whatever reason that I thought it was his house that Zach Bagans bought, but it's not. It was someone else's house. I don't know why I was thinking that. And then I read it, I was like, no, that's not. It
was some serial killer, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like some murder of something in my mouth.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to do a video on him too. Because it was, I can't remember. I'll have to look into that. But that is Ed Gein.
That was a tough one. Yeah. That's a tough one. Like,
I'm gonna add a trigger warning too before.
That's a lot. Yeah, because there is no way for them to know if he did do anything sexually to these women because he had them completely.
Yeah.
The vagina is the fact that he helped. I mean, I don't understand.
Very strange. I know. There's literally no comprehending.
My brain is trying to figure out his thought process, but there's not there.
Never will.
With this one. No.
See, and that's why, I don't want to say favorites in a sense of, in a good way, but, I wish this one was more talked about because, to me, this is, scarier, right? Because,
it's very scary.
You can't understand this. No. You can't understand a lot of serial killers, but you cannot understand this, which is a good thing. But, at least with Ted Bundy, you get it. You get it. And he was there. He was with it. He had the intelligence to, too much intelligence sometimes.
Yes. I'm talking about this dangerous narcissism. That was dangerous narcissism, right? All the way.
Right.
He was a serial killer, but it was almost like he thought of himself as a god.
Right.
And that's what happens a lot of times. But with Ed Gein, we never talked
about Bundy.
No, we're going to have to do it Bundy. We have not.
Definitely do it Bundy. But this one I wish was more talked about because I don't hear it as, it is talked about, but it's not you hear Ed Gein and and a lot of people can put Leatherface to it, but when you look into it, it's just wild.
Sad. Morbid as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm it's hard to hear. It's hard to take in that he was sitting on furniture of human skin and he was eating out of bowls of humans, and what was his thought process? Was it it's so hard because I'm the fact that he was I was gonna hang it on the wall, for him it wasn't evil, obviously.
No.
It wasn't it was just I'm using this stuff and I have killed this person and I almost matter of fact,
That's what's so scary to me.
That's so scary.
And I just it's just a very
but I think that's what got him caught. Yeah. Because he's not sophisticated. He wasn't intelligent.
I'm sure he knew what he was doing wasn't
yeah.
But I don't think he had the whereabouts to be I gotta plan this out and I gotta it's just I gotta do this.
Okay, I did this with the dead people. Now I want to get somebody with fresh skin.
Right.
That fresh body.
That is what he told police. He told them it's hard to work with dried up skin.
So he literally made this his fucking hobby.
Yes.
And he just needed to kill somebody because he needed fresh. That's fucking insane, dude. And talk about being insane. That's fucking insane.
Yep.
Whew.
It's a tough one.
That is creepy. And I'm glad his place burned down because there's no reason. And what's crazy to me, and I've always been creeped out by this, is that people remake skin chairs and skin lamps, and they're not obviously real people.
Okay, I was what?
But they make them look like people, and they sell them on people buy them for their houses. No joke. You can look it up. I'm not joking. They will literally make furniture and lamps that look like people's skin with with mouth on there. Or you were talking about the nipple belt that has been remade over and over. But they make it and people buy that shit, and I'm just fuck.
That's where I don't get it. I don't. I love the true crime. I love the horror. I love all that stuff, but I have a healthy level of it. I know where to draw the line. I know I'm not going to romanticize it. I'm not going to fantasize to that extent of it. It's weird. It's very weird to me, and I feel it's also disrespectful.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Disrespectful to that's real people that have been through this and died, and it's just to fantasize or romanticize that is weird.
Or even to have died and then have their bodies made into a chair that just I don't even want like,
no,
I don't want a cow chair. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that.
No,
I don't like, so for me, it's completely past my brain of understanding of why anyone would want that. Like, I understand, like, you know, you have like Michael Myers and Freddy, but like to have real
it's
serial killer stuff,
absolutely
like,
not.
Oh,
Absolutely not.
Just no.
It's strange.
Because that's like, you were talking about you love horror. That's horror.
Yeah.
That's real life horror.
Right.
That's different.
And that's why, like, it's like a pit in my stomach feeling. Like, that's the thing I don't like that. I don't like, you know, even like when I listen to it or research things, I cannot do it for a long time. I'm like tongue tied, like a long period of time. I have to, like, you know, you have to put yourself in a mindset for that.
Well, that's what I just did when you're reading. I'm putting myself in his mindset of literally living in this house, going to bed in this house, working on people, and like my stomach just clenches. Like, I'm like,
and that's good.
Ugh. Yeah. It means I'm not going to go do that because I'm literally like, like it's.
But I think what also is terrifying is to know how many people do romanticize it and how many people do, like, there are actual people out there and they're not going to like discuss it or talk about it, but you know that there's people, you could be in the store with someone who has these thoughts or wants or anything, and it's scary. And like, I had
when is it going to go to the next level?
Yeah. And like, one of Andrew's friends, she is a therapist. She works at like a hospital, like a psych hospital. And I was asking her, I was like, so do you like, this must completely change the way you look at humans. She's like, oh, it does. Like, you can't, like, it is insane. She's like, they come in and they look normal. And that is what's so scary.
I think a good one to point out with that is a movie, American Psycho.
Oh,
you know, I think it's a really good one because on all of the fronts, it was like, he's just a business guy, and he was, you know, fucking psycho. And it's like crazy because you don't know. This one it still gives me it gives me worse now. Like, Ed Gein gives me like like I can't imagine.
So that's why when everyone's always like, oh, Ted Bundy, oh, Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm like, have you heard Ed Gein?
Yeah.
Have you heard about him?
Maybe they can't. Maybe because they can't romanticize him.
Probably.
Maybe because he wasn't this super attractive guy. He was
not
creepy. He was, you know, did all these really creepy things. Maybe he's not out there because Ted Bundy, even though I don't find him attractive or anything, but a lot of people freaking do and did, you know?
No, and I look at him and I'm just like, ugh.
Oh,
like, obviously it could be because I know what he did, but I feel like, like I'm trying to put myself in the situation of not knowing him and what he did and just looks wise, like, no.
He ain't it.
No. Scary.
Ugh. I guess I'm nice and normal that way because I'm like, ugh.
Right.
Like, no, thank you.
No.
See, now that's the whole, what we were talking about earlier on. Romanticizing.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Scream, Michael Myers, they're movie. They're so not real, right? And it's not even like, so it's like you can have like a movie star love of them, right?
Like I said, the fantasizing it and keeping it in your head.
Great, that's fine.
You know, one thing. But then
wanting it. There's people out there that, like, I've heard, like, oh, I wish I could have met Ted Bundy. You wouldn't be alive.
You would not be alive. And have you heard the stories of people who have? Like, no. Like, the people who are still alive, it's insane.
I would love, if any of your reviewers are someone that does have an obsession with serial killers, I would love to talk to you. I would love to be able to talk to you to figure out, like, because I am all about hearing other people's sides. Yeah. So, like, even though...
That's the thing is, like, you know... It's one thing to have those thoughts and like act on them, do them. And like, I'm not trying to say this in a way because I know that this is probably why people don't come out and talk about things.
Yeah.
They're ashamed.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, if you're wanting help or whatever, that's not what we're saying, but it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now.
No, we're like not judging people, but there's things that we very much believe, but we know that things other people believe.
Right.
We definitely have boundaries and we definitely have lines and there just is. But we are also people that are like, hey, you know, if you're not like creepy or scary and you do have like, oh, you know what, romanticized serial killers, I would, even if you want to write an email and say, this is why, or something like that. We would love to hear from you, but I can't say that we'll ever get behind it or understand it because we won't, but I'm always around. As long as you haven't hurt anybody.
Right.
I'm always about hearing other people's thoughts.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
But anyways, I would say that was a very heavy one.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Icky, like feeling one. I've always felt very icky about Ed Gein.
Oh, same.
And I haven't researched him because I'm actually quite happy to hear that his place burned down.
Yeah.
I'm very creeped out that people wanted pieces of it. Like
his gravestone, his house, like all of it is weird.
And that Zach Bagans has his pot. So what he cooked people in.
He does.
His actual pot.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo!
Yep.
That was a one.
That was it.
It was good, but that was heavy. So, yeah.
That's what we have for you this week. And we'll see you in the next one. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Apple
Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube,
TikTok, all the things. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.